At the beginning of this year, I started a new dropshipping brand that has done over $350,000 in revenue and a little over $100,000 in profit on this side. And while that's great, and that'll help me afford my Porsche 911 or give a few Birkin bags to my roster to keep him happy because the E-Dog is a very generous man, what I realized is the most valuable thing I can take away from that experience, and as I start to scale that brand to 50 to 100K months, is that there was a step-by-step process I followed to scale that product from initially only doing 1K in the first month to now doing consistently over 50K every single month at a 30% margin, which is insanely high. And that same process is a process that I've taught to my one-on-one students that I've recently actually interviewed and will be shown in the YouTube channel in further videos, where when I interviewed my students that are now doing over $100,000 a month, there is a consistent pattern of actions that they all took that I taught to them that got them to the point of only making a few sales a day to now making over $3,000 a day. And by no means is it rocket science, but I feel bad for you right now watching this YouTube video who is not in a coaching program, because simply put, nobody is teaching this on YouTube. They are not giving away this information because people aren't going to watch and want to learn this because it's boring. It's not exciting. It's not a new media buying strategy. It's not a new way to find winning products, even though you've learned 20 kajillion different ways to find winning products. Calodata, Temu, TikTok Burner, all of it works. You don't need another method. But what you need to do is have a systematical, methodical approach to do this one thing that makes the biggest difference to your profitability, to your sales, and your ability to scale to those thousands of dollars every single day. Now, with enough blue balls in you, what is that thing, Papa E, that allowed you to take that product from only a few sales a day to now doing over $3,000 a day? Well, before we get into that, yeah, I'm going to tease you a little bit. I'm going to tease you. I mean, obviously, you can just skip this video and then just totally, flick the bird at me, essentially. But I do believe this beginning part's also going to be a little bit important. Before you get to that point, you do need a product that's making you sales. Because the majority of people, in fact, you right now, might be in a situation where you're testing a product and you're making a few sales a day, but it is unprofitable for you. And you may be saying, oh, I got to move on because a winning product would immediately be profitable. It would just show me those results and just be easy to scale. It shouldn't be a fight. The reality is, when you have a product that's making you sales, it most likely can be a winner if you take the right actions, and it will be a fight. When I talk to my students that were doing over 100K a month, every single one of them in the first 2 weeks of their winning product was not profitable. They made some sales, they had some campaigns running, but nothing was profitable, but they were making sales. There was traction there. And they needed to know, what actions do I take, the little tiny micro actions that will compound to making my business profitable, and then getting it from profitable to hyper profitable so that I can really pour some gasoline on this fire. Because that is a skill and a step-by-step process in itself that can make you so much money. And that's more valuable than any product research strategy, Facebook ad strategy, any bullshit that you are going to learn and click on because it looks entertaining and you think that's going to be the magic pill fix for you, when it is not. This isn't going to be an easy fix, but it's the only real thing you can do to take a product that's only making you few sales to really consistently scaling and making a ton of money while you do it. So, how do you first get a product that is worth putting in the effort that I'm going to teach you in this video? It is simply going to come from volume. I am not a big believer in being emotionally attached to products, but you may think that through this video and the strategy I revealed to you that I am. No, the reality is, after a certain point, there are going to be actions you take, and that if you take those actions and it still has not resulted in success, you should most likely move on. However, how do we get to the point where you have a product that's making a few sales to justify taking these actions? Well, in the first place, volume. 90% of products that you will test will fail for you, even if you do everything right. The website, the ads, the offer. It's just not going to work. So with that in mind, you have to be brutal with things. If it takes you, let's say, 2 weeks to test one product, and you know that I need to test around 10 to 15 products to get my first winner, then realistically, that's 2 products a month. It's going to take you 5 to 6 months to have reached the enough volume to maybe have a winning product. Compare that with someone who tests 2 a week. It's going to take them a month to a month and a half to eventually have enough volume to get their skills to the point where they can most likely have a winning product. So it's about speed and being able to operate efficiently. Now, when you're testing things, that doesn't mean you half-ass it. You try to do everything to the best of your abilities within a specific time frame. I usually am going to give myself 2 to 3 days max to test a product. Now, if that means that my product page is at a certain level after a day, then okay, that's my level. But I can guarantee the next time I test, I'm going to get a step better. I'm going to be able to add a new element, a new section, more reviews, a better offer that I had more thought behind. I'm going to be able to maybe only make 5 ads in a day, and that's fine. Okay, cool. Test with 5 ads. That's still better than most people. But then the next time you test a new product, see if you can push that to 8 ads. See if you can push that to 12. See if you can push that to 15. For me, that perfect number is around 12 to 16 ads. That gives that product a fair shot. If you only test with 5, in my opinion, it's not a fair shot, but because of the sake of efficiency, it should tell you something. It should give you a little glimpse of potential in that product if you did the ads, at least those 5 right, with having an engaging hook, with doing your research on your target audience, the benefits, the problems, and what could potentially get their attention to make them watch your ad. Now, once you do that, and you're testing with volume, you're putting in your reps, and naturally through the process of putting in reps, your quality is going to improve. You need to focus on quantity rather than quality because quantity will also improve your quality naturally. Do not be a perfectionist. Do not spend 2 weeks to test a product. It is not worth the squeeze because again, you can do everything right. 90% of the time, it's not going to work. And that's fine because in dropshipping, you just need one winner, like the one I just showed you. And all of those little tests that you did beforehand, I could have tested 20 products before that one. And I most likely would have lost $100 to $200 testing each one of those. If I test 20 products and I lose $100, okay, cool. I'm down $2K. I found that one winner. Well, now I'm up $100K. I like that math. I like those odds. 99% of gamblers quit before they hit it big. So you don't quit. You keep spinning that wheel. You keep testing products. You keep improving your quality. You keep improving by iterating your website and your ads over time. And then naturally, it's all going to click if you are improving after every test. And that is the main theme of this video because I do say that a lot. Improve and iterate. But what do you actually improve and iterate? What are those steps? Because that's such a general term. And that is how I took that product from 1K a month to now doing $3,000 a day. So once you have a product that is making you a few sales a day, what do you do? Because in most cases, it's going to be around break even or maybe slightly unprofitable. Well, this is where you know your numbers, your KPIs. On your website, the only God tier golden goose metric that you pray to and you think about while you're sleeping at night is revenue per visitor, which is your AOV times your conversion rate. If my AOV, average order value, is $50 and I have a 3% conversion rate, then I'm making $1.50 per visitor because I make $150 from 100 visitors. That is all that it is. How much revenue do you bring in for every single visitor? Now, typically, a good dropshipping website is going to make about $1 a visitor. I always aim for $1.50. But when I look at the students right now that are scaling to over $100K a month, consistently their websites are at $3 to $5 a visitor. Every time they get a visitor, they make $5 in revenue. Look at your website right now. Look at the product that you are currently testing and maybe making a few sales at. Look at your revenue divided by your visitors. If let's say you had $1,000 in revenue and you had 1,500 visitors, then that means you're making less than $1 a visitor. Not great. No bueno. So what do? You improve and you iterate. And what you do is you focus on the highest priority task in your dropshipping business on the website side. Now, what is the big lever that can improve that revenue per visitor if it's under $1? Let's say it's at 50 cents to now getting to that first benchmark of $1. How do I double my website's performance? Well, first off, there's a few baseline things you need to have before I tell you the main one. Make sure your speed score is there, that it doesn't take longer than 4 seconds for your product page to load, because if you do test it using Google page speed, you will know. If you have that done, you've compressed your images, you did all that right, and your description illustrates clearly the value of your product, how the value is greater than the price point you're charging, and you have good product images that showcase more benefits, that have a good hero image, you have a good money back guarantee, your shipping times, you have an FAQ section that handles objections, you have social proof. If you have all the key elements, you have urgency as well. If you have all those key main elements, then that's really all you need on a product page. And then the real main thing that you have to get down, the number one big kahuna thing you need to be split testing and iterating the most, is your offer. Now, I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine, Revenue Express. I had paid him a pretty penny to hop on a consulting call with him because I wanted him to break down an account that he was scaling to about 1.5 million a month and everything he was doing. And almost everything he did was outside of the ad account. And he is one of the best media buyers I know. And yet almost none of the information he told me was about media buying that he did to scale from 0 to 1.5 million a month. But what he did tell me, the thing he was iterating and just really harping on the most, was his offer. He tests 5 new offers every single week. That is more than I know anyone else. It was just, he had an amazing volume of which he was testing creatives, of which he was testing scaling methods, and of which he was testing his offer. Because he knew on the website end of things, there's 2 separate parts of your dropshipping business, the website and the ad account. On the website, the only thing you should really be focusing on, the number one thing that's going to move the needle up or down, is that offer. Nothing else. And that's why he tests 5 different offers a week, which is insane. And I tell you guys, when I test products, I do use A/B convert and I do test 2 different offers, even when I'm testing a product, even if it has 0 sales for me, because you don't know what offer is going to work better. And it makes such a big difference in conversion rate by having 2 completely different offers. Everything else could be the exact same, the same product page, the same ads, the same testing method. Just that offer alone could be the difference between a winning product in your eyes and a losing product that makes you no sales. It had nothing to do with the product. It was your offer. It's such a key lever that you have to get down. And you can only get it down by iterating, by split testing, because the best marketers realize that their first offer, their first ads, their first test is not going to be what gets them to $1,000 a day, to $3,000 a day. The ads that got you to this point of making a few sales a day, the product page that you have right now that has gotten you to a few sales a day, maybe a few $100s a day, is not going to be the same product page that gets you to $1,000 a day or $3,000 a day. These are not going to be the same ads that get you to $1,000 a day, to $3,000 a day, to $10,000 a day. You use it as a benchmark. You use it as your foundation, but then you keep adding, changing, splicing, and then eventually you make a better performing website and better performing ads through what you learn by testing new variables every week. If you're not testing new variables, then your website's going to stay stagnant and it's most likely going to decline. That's the reality. Now, how he tests 5 different offers a week, I personally don't agree with the method of how he does it, but I like the principle of testing a lot of offers. He personally, in Facebook, will create a new campaign, and that new campaign will send traffic directly to a new product page. So let's say it's 5 new offers. That means one offer is on one product page, the second offer is on a new product page, third offer is on another new product page. So he has 3 different product pages, and the only difference is the offer. He'll have one campaign, go to the first product page, another campaign, go to the second one, third one, go to the third one. And essentially he does that with 5 campaigns, 5 new product pages every week. Now, the reason I don't like that is because each campaign will optimize differently. And when he sets up the campaigns, he just puts in the best performing ads. So all the campaigns are identical. The only difference is just the product page they go to. But it's usually his top 3 performing ads. He'll do usually an ABO. Now, I don't like that because yes, even though the ads are the same in every campaign, they all optimize differently and will hit different pockets of your audience. So I believe the best way to split test, and even when you're testing a product, you should do this. At the bare minimum, if this video doesn't convince you to split test your offer, then you are a dummy. You're a brokey. And you'll never drive a Bugatti. I haven't done my Andrew Tate impression so long. He's completely fallen off of my mind. I'm now on to the Costco guy family. We're Costco guys, and today we're eating a chicken bake and a double chunk chocolate chip cookie. And then, of course, the Rizzler. They just released a new song, and the Rizzler dropped the hardest bars I've ever seen in my life. It was something about he is the panther in black, and when he attacks, you can't fight back. Something along those lines. But the line at the end, he's like, we're like the 3 evolutions of Pokemon. And I was like, oh my God, this kid is going to be he's going to be a superstar. This kid's got it. He's going all the way to the top, I tell you. I want to get a chicken bake. Now that's a boom. Now that's a boom. Oh, I can't do the dad's voice. All right, getting back to topic. All right, so ADD kicking in. I know. Can you believe I was able to scale one of these side businesses to 100K in profit while running other businesses, including this one? I know, crazy, right? Time management's really, when you get it down, you can do amazing things. Now, I don't like the way he did all that offer split testing with having multiple campaigns because I just don't think that's the proper way to optimize. So for me personally, I always believe when you're testing a product, you're most likely going to have one testing campaign and you should redirect 50% of the traffic to one product page and 50% of the traffic to another, because that way the traffic quality is the same. It's the same traffic, but you're just redirecting and splitting it over 50% to one offer, 50% to another. That is the cleanest, I'd say most optimal, most fair way to test two different product pages. Now, if I had 4 offers I wanted to test, well, cool. My testing campaign will go to those 2 main product pages, and then I will create a new campaign with the best performing ads. And then again, I'll redirect 50% of traffic to that 3rd offer I want to test, and then 50% to the 4th offer. Because that way the 3rd and 4th, they're competing against each other. They're not competing versus the 1st and 2nd because that traffic quality is completely different. But I will have a very unbiased split test there because the traffic is essentially the same on the 3rd and 4th. It's almost like a soccer tournament, a knockout tournament where you have a semifinal. So the semifinal is offer 3 versus offer 4 versus offer 1 and offer 2. So the winner of each split test then goes to the finals and then they verse each other. So it could be offer 3 winning, offer 1 winning, and then cool, next split test, offer 1 versus offer 3 as the main offer split test. And then we'll create another secondary bracket where we're testing offer 5 and offer 6 next week. That I like. That is going to teach you, and you are going to learn so much about what offer is going to work and convert the best for your brand if you are split testing like that every single week. Now, you may be wondering, Ethan, how long do we let these split tests last? Because again, the only thing you should be doing on your website is split testing that offer. I typically give it a week. Give it a week. Give it 1,000 sessions minimum on each product page, each offer, before you make any decisions. Because if you cut earlier, which a lot of beginners do, they get too impatient because they see, oh, first 2-3 days, offer 1 beating offer 2, therefore offer 1. Let me just put all my traffic to that. No, give it time. You are too impatient. You're a dropshipper, and golly, dropshippers love to just shoot themselves in the foot, pull the trigger too quickly. Hold your horses, cowboy. Give it some time. Patience is a virtue. A 1-week test, and then at least 1,000 visitors on each product page. Now, if you get to a week and you don't have 1,000 visitors on each product page because you're not spending enough money to get that kind of visitor amounts, then I'd say if after that week you do notice a pretty big difference, a statistically significant difference in the revenue per visitor and the conversion rate in your AOV on one offer compared to the other, then sure, take that offer that's obviously working better and then move on to the next split test idea, which could be a new price point, could be a new offer. Now, you may be wondering, yes, Ethan, with the offers, what do you actually split test? There are about 6 different offer structures you can do. Buy one, get one free, buy one, get a free gift, volume discount, bundles, a set, and there's one other one that, unfortunately, after talking for about 20 minutes consecutively, I am blanking on. I mean, really the main 3 ones I ever do is buy one, get a free gift, and then volume discount. Those are kind of the 3 main ones, really. Oh, and the final one, Alzheimer's hasn't gotten me yet, is doing a low upfront price plus high shipping. Those are the main ones. I will most likely do one of the 4 main ones, which is, yes, low upfront plus high shipping, buy one, get a free gift, or volume discount. So you start with those 4 offer structures. Now, let's say I'm testing a product and I'm thinking about what offers I'm going to split test. This is all going to be based on the margins of my product. Because if my margins are really, really fat and juicy, then I can do buy one, get one, and that's perfectly fine. So let's say, for instance, I'm selling a water bottle. So we'll come up with an offer on the spot. This water bottle cost me $5. I can sell it realistically for $30. That's the perceived value the market has for a water bottle. So if it cost me 10, I think we said 5. Let's start with 5. So it cost me 5. I'm selling it for 30. That's a $25 margin on one. So what most dropshippers will do is they'll say this is $29.99, and then they'll slap on a compare it price of 50% off. That's all they do. That's their whole offer. It's a percentage discount. That's the weakest offer you can possibly do. Now, does it work? Yes. If you have a great product and you have great ads and you have a great product page, even a pretty mediocre offer will get you sales. Now, can you scale with a mediocre offer like that? Most likely not. It's too vanilla. It's too missionary. And I get it. Missionary is great. I mean, that's the only position I can even nut in, if I'm being honest. You just get a good grip. But sometimes you got to spice it up if you really want to get to those big boy numbers. You have to do things outside the box. Now, if I was looking at that product with these COGS, $5 it cost me, $30 I'm charging. I could do a BOGO offer at $40, and I would actually make more money, because with that boring offer of $29.99 at 50% off, I make $25. But if I charge, let's say, $40 for two of them, it only cost me $10, but I'm making $40. So 10 minus 40 is $30. So I actually make more money with the second offer, and the perceived value for my customers, oh my God, I get two for $20 essentially each. So it's better for the customer, it's better for me. Everyone wins. And most likely that offer is going to convert more, and I actually make more money, and I can scale my business 20, 30, 40% more. That is what you have to think. So I would say that would be my first offer, BOGO at 40. But then what if I try, okay, and I think realistically people are probably only going to buy one of this water bottle. Well, if that's the case, then I really need to figure out what's the right offer for buy one. Is it buy one, get a free gift? Is it doing, just a percentage discount? Is it doing a low upfront plus high shipping? So maybe my two offers could be BOGO at 40 versus a low upfront plus high shipping. So let's say I want to get to $30 all in on this. Well, then realistically, I could do $19.99 plus $9 shipping. I could do $24.99 plus $5 shipping. I could do $29.99 plus free shipping, but that's not a low upfront plus high shipping. I could even do $14.99 plus $14 shipping, but I wouldn't want to have my shipping price be that similar to my product cost. So I'd most likely do $19.99 plus $9.99 shipping. And we see those two offers that are completely different. They're different prices altogether. They're different offer structures altogether. We'll test that, and we'll just see which one is getting more traction, more volume. And even let's say the BOGO deal does better than the original one, the low upfront, high shipping. I'm still not going to give up on that offer structure. My next split test could be, okay, BOGO at 40, and then it could be BOGO at 35, or it could be, let's do that same offer structure again of low upfront, but let's do $24.99 plus $5 shipping. And that's the next round. Or I could do as my main offer, so where my main campaign is going to the BOGO at 40, I could create a second split test, which is, a BOGO at 35, and we can compare the difference. Because obviously I'm making $5 less. So about 15% less money on my AOV. But if my conversion rate goes up by over 15%, then it's actually more profitable for me to run with the $35 offer. Now, while that's going on, I could have a new campaign going to two new product pages of the same water bottle, and then that is just testing the low upfront offers. So I could do low upfront of $24.99 plus $5 shipping versus potentially $14.99 plus maybe $10 shipping. So those are two different offers that we're testing. So we have a BOGO split test going on, and then a low upfront plus high shipping offer also going on. It's 4 different offers we're testing that week. And then we'll figure out what we learned. We'll figure out which one did better. And then the winners of both those split tests next week will go up against each other. And then we think of 2 new offers to also split test in the semifinals. If you do that every single week, your offer is going to be so dialed in. It is going to be so good that your revenue per visitor is going to shoot through the roof. If you watch this video and you don't think you can get your revenue per visitor from 50 cents to $1, or from $1 to $2, or from $2 to $4 after doing what I just told you, because that's the number one lever on your product page, split test your damn offer. If you don't feel like if you do that every single week, whether it's offer split tests of the structure or price split test, because again, you can do BOGO, but is BOGO at 40 the right price? Is BOGO at 35 the right price? Is BOGO at 32? Again, you can do $2 increments, you can do $5 increments. You don't know until you keep testing. It could be $40 just as 40.00, or it could be $39.99. Even though it's 1 cent difference, your conversion rate will have an impact. I know I sound like an absolute crazy lunatic. Guys, this is what it takes. This is what it freaking takes to scale to these numbers. Every single week I'm doing that. That's the only thing I have to do on my website. And it takes 2 seconds to do. You just duplicate your product in Shopify. You change it to the new offer. You go to A/B convert. You click URL redirect. You have 50% of traffic go to one offer, 50% go to the other one. It takes you 2 minutes, and you have that offer going for the whole week, and you don't have to touch it until next week. It's so simple to do. You have literally zero excuse not to be, because it's the highest leverage thing you can do on your website, the highest priority task. And it takes a few minutes to do, and it can significantly improve the money you're making. That is how I scaled that product from $1,000 a month to $50,000 a month, because I got my revenue per visitor when it was at $1,000 a month which it was only at about $1 a visitor, to now this store, if I do the math, we can do the math right now. Okay, so let's do last 30 days. So last 30 days on this store, we had 19,000 sessions, okay? So we'll just round it up to 20K. We did about 50K in revenue. I'm a little bit pissed. We were $200 short. Do the math. I made essentially $2.50 a visitor. It was at $1 in January. Now it's at $2.50. I didn't change a thing about my creatives. I didn't change a thing about my media buying, but my website is now 250% more profitable. It is making 250% more per visitor. That is how you scale. If you can increase the gap at which you acquire traffic and the amount of money you make from that traffic, the more you'll be able to scale. So for instance, if I spend $100 and I make $200, this is the gap. And as I scale my ads, naturally it's gonna be more expensive to acquire customers, and that gap's gonna get to the point where, let's say once I'm spending $200, $300, $400 a day, I'm only breaking even. So it actually makes more sense to keep it at $100 a day because at least I had some sort of profitability. But if I'm spending $100 and I'm making back $400 because my website's performing 2 times better now, that gap is so much greater, which allows me to scale and allows me to get to even $500 a day and spend. And we're still, that margin, that padding is still there. We still got a healthy margin. So it allows us to scale even further. And as my website becomes more profitable, that padding keeps increasing, and that allows me to keep scaling and scaling, scaling, scaling. But if my website stays the same for the next 6-9 months, like all of you guys are doing, then as I scale up, we're unprofitable. I'm losing money. I'm going to have to sell the house. I'm going to have to foreclose. I'm going to have to sell the shirt on my back. My wife's leaving me. My dog's leaving me. Everyone hates me. And I'm just going to enter my winter arc, or I'm just going to become a homeless person that lives in a cardboard box begging for money. It's up to you guys. And you know the worst part? Even though I've been yapping for the last 25 minutes, I haven't even gotten into the things we do on the media buying side, because I think that's a whole video in itself. But what we did and what I would recommend is that when I post these student interviews later this week, because we will be covering what we did in the ad accounts and what we did with the creatives, but it's essentially, guys, the exact same process. It's boring. No one's going to tell you this, but this is what makes money. How my students got from 0 to 100K a month, which you're going to see, and it's going to be a hella flex on my part, and it's going to make you want to join, and we're going to run out of spots, and I would say, sorry, bud, no more me time for you. Sorry, this mug's already reserved. Is just doing those split tests. That's all it was. We do it on the website. We do it on the creative side as well. We're trying out new hooks, trying out new frameworks, trying out new messaging. But again, if you want a more elaborate video on the things we do on the ad account to scale, because that's also a thing in itself. If I'm starting out testing a product and my cost per link click is $1, how do we get it down to 50 cents? Or if my ads are acquiring link clicks at $1 and the conversion rate from my ads is 2%, how do I get that conversion rate up to 3, 4, 5% from that ad? Because maybe the cost per link click can be higher, but because the conversion rate's so much higher, it's instead of only, I would say the average ad, the conversion rate from an ad is about 1%. If you can get it to 3% or 5% or 10%, then it doesn't matter that your cost per link click's $1 because your ad's getting so many conversions. It's making you back 4, 5, 6, 8 ROAS. But how do you get to the point where an ad that's originally only making 1% conversion rate to 3% conversion rate? What's the answer, class? You split test. The hook, the body, the messaging, the visuals. And there's a certain way that we do it inside my program that I teach my students. And that's why their original ads that got them a few $100s a day in sales are not the same ads that got them to $1,000 a day in sales. They have a lot of the skeleton of the original ads, but there's always tweaks, frameworks, upgrades that we make, that we test to see what works. And a lot of times, a lot of it doesn't work. But when we do find what does, then we can scale to the next level. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. It's a very, very simple learning lesson. Start split testing more with everything. And that will get you from being unprofitable or making a few sales of the product to then having the right website with the right offer and the right ad account with the right ads and the right scaling strategies, because that's also things you got to split test as well, but we don't have enough time for today, to be able to scale profitably into over 100K on the side with one of your dropshipping stores.